Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, welcome back with me. I'm Ahmad Lutfi Mubarok from English Education Again. In this video, I want to explain about teaching principles. Okay, let's see this video. In teaching English as a foreign language, I want to explain about teaching principles. Okay. There are three types of principles. The first is cognitive, and the second is affective, and the third is linguistic. In cognitive, there are 6 points. The first is automaticity, the second is meaningful learning, the third is the anticipation of reward, the fourth is intrinsic motivation, the fifth is strategic innovation, and the sixth is autonomy. And in affective, there are 4 points. The first is language ego, the second is self-confidence, and the third is risk-taking, and the fourth is language culture connection. And in linguistic, there are 3 points. The first is the native language, the second is interlanguage, and the last is communicative competence. Automaticity. Automaticity is efficient to learning involves a timely movement of the control of few language from into the automatic processing of a relative unlimited number of language prompts. Overanalyzing, thinking too much about its prompt, and consciously linear all tend to impede this graduation to automaticity according to Longman Dictionary of Language Teaching and Applied Linguistics. This ability to use a language using automatic processing. Automatic processing is the performance of a text without conscious or deliberate processing and is involved when the learning carries out tasks without awareness or attention making for use of information in long-term memory, like driving a bicycle. Okay. In automaticity includes there are 3 points. First is substantious absorption of language through meaningful use. Second is efficient and rapid movement away from a focus on the form of language to a focus on the purpose of the which language is used. And the last is resistance to the temptation to analyze language from. Okay, meaningful learning. Meaningful learning is its substance, new information into existing structure and memory system, and the resulting associative links create stronger attention on the words. It refers to learning way where the new knowledge acquired is related with the previous knowledge. Rote learning. Rote learning is taking in isolated bits of information by repeating the materials over and over again that are not connected with one existing cognitive structure which has little chance of creating long-term memory. Some classroom implication of the principle. Okay. The first is capitalize on the power of meaningful learning by appealing to students' interests, academic goals, and career goals. The second is when a new topic is introduced, help your students to associate this topic with what they already know. And the third is avoid the pitfalls of rote learning. In avoid the pivot of rote learning, there are 3 points. The first is too much grammar explanation, too many abstract principles and theories. The second is effective without clear purpose. And the last is activities unrelated to the goals of the lesson of course techniques that are too mechanical or trick the anticipation reward. In the anticipation rewards, human beings are universally driven to act or behave by the anticipation of some sort of reward, tangible or intangible, short-term or long-term, that will happen as a result of the behavior. In constructive classroom implication, there are 3 points. The first is provide an optimal degree of immediate verbal praise and encouragement to students as a from short-term reward. The second is display enthusiasm and excitement yourself in the classroom. If you are dull, level short, and have low energy, you can be almost sure that will be contagious. And the last is encourage students to reward each other with compliments and supportive action. And the next is intrinsic motivation. Okay, the most powerful rewards are those that are intrinsically motivated, those that come from inside of an individual rather than outside rewards such as money or grades, because the behaviors stem from needs, wants or desires within oneself. The behavior is self-rewarding, therefore to externally control reward is necessary. Learners perform tasks because it's fun, useful or challenging, and not because they anticipate some cognitive or effective reward from the teacher. Strategic investment. A learner's professional investment of time, effort, and attention the second language will help comprehending and producing the language. Major pedagogical implications of the principle. A. The importance of recognizing and dealing with the wide variety of style and strategies that learners successful bring to the learning processing. And B. The need for attention each separate individual in the classroom. Okay. In language echo. As human beings learn to use second language, they also develop a new mode of thinking, feeling, acting, a second identity. The new language echo intertwined with second language can easily create within the learner a sense of fragility, a defensiveness, and rising of inhibition. In self-confidence, learners believe that they are fully capable of accomplishing a task is at least partially a factor in their eventual success in attaining the task. In risk-taking, successful language learners in the realistic judgment of themselves as vulnerable beings yet capable of accomplishing tasks must be willing to become gamers in the game of language to attempt to process and interpret language. This is a bit beyond their absolute certainty. And the next thing, how can your classroom reflect the principle of risk-taking? Okay, there are 4 points. The first is create an atmosphere in the classroom that encourage students to try out language, to venture a response and not to wait for someone to volunteer language. The second is provide reasonable challenges. Your techniques make neither easy nor too hard. Third is help your students to understand what calculated risk-taking is in case some feel that they may blur or any odd response. And the last is respond to students' risk attempts with positive appreciation, praising them for trying well at the same time firmly attend to their language. Okay, next, culture connection. Whenever you teach a language, you also teach a complete system of culture, custom, values, and ways of thinking, feeling, and acting. Some classroom applications. Okay, you can see, discuss cross-cultural differences with your students, emphasizing what no culture is better than another, but that cross-cultural understanding is an important phase of learning language. And second is teaching your students the culture connotation, especially the sociolinguistic of language. And last is train your techniques for material that may be culturally offensive. In native language, in the native language of learner exerts a strong influence of acquisition of the target language system, while the native system will exercise both specializing and interfering effect in the production and comparison of the new language. The interfering effects are likely to be more silent. The majority of learners' errors in producing the second language, especially in the beginning level, system from the learner assumption that the target language operates like the native language. Interlanguage. Systematic or quasi-systematic developmental process as the process to feel competent in the target language. Successful interlanguage development potentially result of outlining feedback from others. Classroom implication the teacher attention. Try to distinguish between the student's systematic interlanguage error and another error. Former probably has a logical source that the student can become aware of. The second is teacher needs to exercise some tolerance for certain interlanguage from the might arise out of student logical development process. The last is don't make students feel stupid because of an interlanguage error. Widely point on the communicative competence. Most important principle that are 4 points. The first is organizational competence, grammatical and thesaurus. The second is pragmatic competence, functional and sociolinguistic. The third is strategic competence. The fourth is psychomotor skills. Principle given the communicative competence in the goal of a language classroom. Instruction needs to point towards all its competence, pragmatic, strategic, and psychomotor. Communicative goals are best achieved by giving due attention to language use and not just use, to fluency and not just accuracy, to authentic language and context, and to students. Eventual needs to apply classroom learning to previously unrehearsed context in the real. Thank you very much for watching this video. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.